When it comes to health and safety, that's when the journalist, which is supposed to be removed and observing, when you turn off the lights, you put on your human hat. And of course, yes, you help where you can. Me reporting on human trafficking has always been a difficulty of understanding that line of when do you take off the journalist hat and put on the human hat and then you help, right? That was always difficult for me because we get to fly away and they stay. So those who are kept as slaves, modern day slaves, and forced into having sex, you do want to help. And yet you have to be a journalist. So what brings you there is your journalistic nose, right? Is your job as a journalist. So when do you take off the journalistic hat and when do you put on the human hat? And so that is why I volunteered for so long and still do on issues of human trafficking and gender equity. Because if I'm in a story, when you take off the journalist hat, then do you go in there and you try to take them all out? Well, are you capable of doing that? And I'm not, because if I remove them, guess who's still there when I leave? The pimps. And they will harm them and they'll harm the family. And so what do I do when I take off the journalist hat and be the human hat is by volunteering for those sorts of NGOs and CBOs. And that's the way that I was able to balance out what I was learning and then doing something about it. I know that telling their story was, to me, just as important because it got the word out about this was happening.